Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the Atmapooja Upanishad, guided by the incredible insights of Sadhguru. And really, it all comes down to one simple but totally game-changing idea: how to truly, deeply listen. So let's just jump right into it, because this is what our whole explainer is built around. The big idea is that our perception doesn't just filter reality, it actually creates the reality we can experience. So think about it. What if we're missing out on life's most profound truths just because we don't know how to receive them? Now, the material for this comes from Sadhguru's talks on these ancient texts, and his whole point is that the Upanishads aren't textbooks. You're not supposed to just read them for information. They're designed to be a transformative experience, almost like a doorway into a completely different way of knowing.
To really get what the Upanishads are offering, we first have to figure out where they even fit in the grand scheme of things, in the landscape of human knowledge. And I'll give you a hint, it's probably not where you think.
Okay, this slide is basically a map of everything. Sadhguru breaks it down like this. Science works in the realm of the known, stuff we can measure and prove. Philosophy kind of speculates about the unknown, but religion, in its truest sense, isn't about either of those. It's about confronting the unknowable, the stuff that you can experience directly, but you can never, ever fully explain with words or logic. And that's exactly where the Upanishads live. They pick up right where philosophy leaves off, at the very edge of the unknown, and they guide you on a journey into that vast, mysterious, and ultimately unknowable reality. This isn't some intellectual exercise, it's an existential one, and for that you need a completely different set of tools. Which brings us to our next step, because if you want to access that deeper reality, you have to start with the most basic tool you've got: your ability to listen. And, as we're about to find out, most of us are only using a tiny fraction of our real capacity.
Seriously, just take a second and think about it. When you hear something new, what's your first instinct? Is it to pick it apart, see if it makes sense logically? Or do you try to feel it, to connect with it emotionally? Because those are the two main ways most of us operate.
So, we tend to listen in one of two ways. We either listen through reason, which means we're analyzing, arguing, and usually getting a little defensive, or we listen through feeling, with sympathy and emotion. We're either in our heads, fighting with an idea, or in our hearts, hugging it. And this quote just nails the problem with only using reason. It's an amazing tool, for sure, but it also acts like armor. It's a defense mechanism that, by its very design, stands guard and blocks the deeper, more subtle truths from ever really getting in.
So here's the real kicker. Both your reason and your feelings are just parts of you. To tap into that unknowable thing the Upanishads are pointing at, you can't just use your head or your heart. You have to learn to listen with your entire being. And that brings us to the real breakthrough, the core practice that changes everything. It's a third way of listening. It's not rational, it's not emotional, it's totally existential. The traditional word for this state is shraddha, or faith. But hang on, this isn't faith like believing in a story or a dogma. It's a state that's actually beyond both belief and disbelief. It's just a radical, total openness to what you do not and cannot know. It's simply choosing to be open.
This metaphor from the source material just captures the essence of Shraddha so perfectly. A seed can't become a tree if it's clinging to its identity as a seed, right? It has to surrender. It has to break apart, to basically die to what it knows itself to be so that the unknown potential of the tree can finally be born.
So, how in the world do you practice this? Well, it means you have to consciously set aside your arguments, your analysis, even your emotions. It's all about listening from a state of deep, passive presence. You're not trying to do anything with the information. You're just being, a silent, open, receptive space. Now, I know this might sound a little abstract, but the Upanishad gives us a very practical tool. It's even called a secret key to help us unlock this state of being.
That key is the ancient sound Aum. The text explains that it's so much more than just a word. It's a sign pointing to deeper realities. It's a symbol of the cosmic vibration itself. And, most importantly, it's a practical method to actually experience that vibration directly.
So check this out. Aum is basically a map of your own consciousness. The A sound, that's our normal waking state. U represents the dreaming state. M is that deep, dreamless sleep. The fourth part, that lingering sound after, that's the silent witness, the part of you that's still aware even in deep sleep. And the fifth, pure silence, the final dissolution into everything.
So by using this sound, by moving through its layers from the loud to the more and more subtle, you are quite literally using a key. You're turning a lock to move inward, away from the noisy surface of life and toward that profound, silent reality the Upanishads are trying to show you.
And this brings everything full circle. It connects that idea of total listening with the secret key of AUM, and it all comes together in the core practice that's described in the very first line of the Upanishad.
So what is meditation according to this text? It's simply the constant contemplation of that. Not a thing, not a person, just that. The formless, nameless, unlimited wholeness that is both inside and beyond everything. It's a state of continuous remembrance.
But here is the massive challenge. The source makes it crystal clear. We are deeply, deeply asleep. We think we're awake, but we can't remember anything continuously. Not our breath, not our own self, and definitely not that, for more than just a few seconds before our mind wanders off into another dream.
And this isn't just theory. The philosopher P.D. Ouspensky gave this a try. On his very first attempt at self-remembering, he found he could only stay aware for maybe 3 or 4 seconds, before, as he put it, a dream broke in and I was not aware. It just shows you how deep our inner sleep really is.
And that leaves us with one final thought for you to take away. This isn't philosophy, it's a direct, practical challenge to you, right now. Try it for yourself. For how long can you stay truly continuously present before a dream breaks in? The answer might just be the most important thing you discover all day.